Some people end the day feeling exhausted, even when nothing dramatic happened. No crisis, no conflict, no heavy physical work. Just a normal day, maybe a few conversations, a few responsibilities, a few messages, a few moments where nothing looked unusual from the outside. And yet, by evening, they feel emotionally drained in a way they cannot easily explain. This often gets misunderstood. People may assume it means someone is too sensitive, too weak, too serious, or simply bad at handling everyday life. But psychology suggests something very different. Sometimes emotional tiredness after an ordinary day is not a sign that something is wrong. It can be a sign that your mind is constantly processing more than people realize. It can mean you notice more, absorb more, think more deeply, and carry more internally than others can see. Many people who feel this way are functioning normally on the outside. They go to work, reply politely, smile when needed, complete tasks, and continue through the day. But internally, their mind is active in ways that quietly consume emotional energy. And often, the people who feel emotionally tired after normal days are not failing at life. They are simply experiencing life with more depth than they have words for. The important part is understanding why this happens, because once you understand it, what feels confusing starts to make sense. In this video, we will talk about 6 reasons why some people feel emotionally drained after a normal day. The first reason is that some people are constantly reading emotional signals, even when they do not realize they are doing it. Psychology shows that many emotionally aware people automatically scan the environment for tone, mood, facial expressions, pauses, and subtle changes in behavior. This means a normal conversation may not feel normal to them internally. While someone else hears words, they are also noticing hesitation, tension, hidden sadness, irritation, or discomfort. A short interaction at school, work, or home can quietly become mentally heavy because their brain is processing layers that were never spoken aloud. For example, someone may talk to a friend who says, "I'm fine," but immediately sense that something feels off. Even if they say nothing, part of their mind keeps thinking about it later. Was something wrong? Did I miss something? Are they upset? Research indicates that people who are emotionally perceptive often carry invisible mental work because their attention naturally extends beyond surface communication. And this can become tiring, not because they are imagining things, but because they are taking in more information than most people realize. What looks like overthinking is often heightened emotional awareness. And although this can be exhausting, it is also a strength, because many people with this trait become the ones others feel safe around, even without understanding why. They notice what others miss. They sense what others hide. And that sensitivity often creates deep human understanding. The second reason is that emotionally tired people often spend energy managing themselves in ways nobody sees. Research suggests that self-control, emotional regulation, and social adjustment use mental energy throughout the day. This means even ordinary situations can quietly become draining when someone is constantly monitoring how they respond. They may stop themselves from reacting too strongly. They may hide disappointment. They may speak carefully to avoid conflict. They may smile even when they feel overwhelmed. And because this happens repeatedly, emotional energy slowly decreases. Imagine someone who spends the day being polite, understanding, patient, and calm, while internally handling frustration, disappointment, or pressure. To others, they look completely fine, but inside, they're doing emotional work every hour. By the end of the day, the body is tired, but the deeper exhaustion comes from carrying emotions responsibly without always expressing them. This is especially common in people who learned early that staying composed was important. Sometimes they became the calm one in their family. Sometimes they learned not to burden others. Sometimes they became used to being emotionally mature before they were ready. Psychology shows that when emotional control becomes automatic, people often forget how much effort it takes. But effort is still happening. And if this sounds familiar, it does not mean you are fragile. It may mean you have developed strong emotional discipline, so strong that others cannot see how much energy it costs you. The third reason is that some people mentally replay the day long after it ends. Research indicates that reflective minds often continue processing experiences even after the moment has passed. A short comment from earlier may return at night. A conversation may be replayed in different versions. A small, awkward moment may feel larger hours later. This is not always anxiety. Sometimes it is simply a mind that naturally revisits meaning. For example, someone may remember a small silence during lunch and wonder whether they said something wrong. Or they may think about whether they should have answered differently during a meeting or conversation. What seems small externally can stay active internally because their brain values understanding, meaning, and emotional accuracy. This kind of reflection can create emotional tiredness because the day never fully ends when the mind keeps revisiting it. And yet, there is also a hidden strength here. People who reflect deeply often develop strong self-awareness. They notice patterns. They learn from subtle experiences. They often understand themselves later in ways others never pause to explore. The goal is not to stop reflecting completely. The goal is to notice when reflection becomes too heavy and give yourself permission to let some moments remain unfinished. Not every silence means something. Not every memory needs analysis. And not every imperfect moment deserves emotional weight. The fourth reason is that emotionally tired people often absorb responsibility that was never officially theirs. Psychology shows that many thoughtful people carry invisible concern for others throughout the day. They think about how others feel. They remember what someone said. They worry whether someone is okay. They notice emotional discomfort and internally respond to it, even when nobody asks them to. For example, someone may leave a conversation still thinking about whether another person seemed stressed. Or they may feel responsible for keeping peace in a room, making sure nobody feels left out, or making sure tension does not grow. This kind of emotional responsibility often happens quietly. And because it is invisible, people around them may not understand why they become tired so quickly. But carrying emotional awareness for yourself and others uses energy. A lot of energy. Research indicates that people with strong empathy often need more recovery time because they naturally internalize more social information. This does not mean you need to stop caring. It means you need to remember that caring deeply should not become caring everything. You are allowed to notice without fixing. You're allowed to care without holding every emotional weight. And protecting your energy is not selfish. It is emotional balance. The fifth reason is that some people experience ordinary life intensely, even when they look calm. Psychology shows that internal intensity does not always appear dramatic externally. A person can look quiet and still feel things deeply. A simple disappointment may stay longer. A kind message may affect them strongly. A small rejection may linger quietly. Even beautiful moments can create emotional tiredness because intensity itself uses energy. Some people move through life with a nervous system that reacts deeply to detail, atmosphere, memory, and meaning. This is why crowded places, many conversations, too much noise, or constant demands can feel unusually tiring. Others may leave the same environment unaffected, but someone internally sensitive may need silence afterward just to return to balance. And again, this trait is often misunderstood. People may call it being too much, too sensitive, or too affected. But research suggests that depth of response often exists alongside creativity, empathy, insight, and emotional intelligence. The same mind that becomes tired from overstimulation often notices beauty others miss. It catches emotional detail. It remembers meaning. It sees layers beneath ordinary moments. And that depth can become one of the most powerful parts of a personality when understood rather than judged. So if you sometimes feel emotionally tired after what looked like a completely normal day, it does not automatically mean you are doing life incorrectly. It may simply mean your mind has been active in quiet ways all day long. You noticed more than you said. You managed more than people knew. You processed more than anyone saw. And sometimes, the people who look calmest are carrying the most invisible activity inside. The answer is not to become less yourself. The answer is to understand your own rhythm, to give yourself recovery without guilt, to stop comparing your inner world to people whose minds work differently, and to remember that emotional tiredness is not always weakness. Sometimes it is the cost of depth. Sometimes it is the result of caring carefully, thinking deeply, and moving through life with awareness that others cannot always see. If this felt familiar, there is a reason. And often, understanding yourself changes the way you experience your own mind. Subscribe, like, and share for more psychology insights that help you understand the hidden patterns behind personality, emotion, and the quiet strengths many people carry every day.